So next up we have Alessandro. Alessandro is an interaction designer from Fjord, Dublin at the Dock. He's originally from Italy, and he's spent the last 6 years designing UX and UI for apps, websites, and digital interfaces. He loves finding solutions for tough problems. His talk is called Honest Connected Objects: What is the immediate future of Internet of Things, and where do we go from here? So everyone, welcome Alessandro.
Hello, thank you. As a designer, I'm really curious about the interaction that normally we have with objects, right? All the relationships that we normally develop, because we feel a lot of attachment with them, especially our favorite objects. But not only designers are really curious about this. For example, psychologists such as Sherry Talcon from MIT, they're actually looking about how we interact with them. And most of the time, we just see them as creatures and machines. Because we are coming actually for how we normally personalize them and how we see them, right, in our everyday lives, in our homes. They're actually part of us, right? They're becoming, even now with new technology, they're becoming really more even attached to us. Thinking about our smartphone, for example. In this case, for example, there's a story of this woman that called the assistant for her broken Roomba, and basically what happened, she said, "Oh no, I will not send you my Rosie." So every time because we give them names. And what's coming next? So I started to imagine a scenario in which all the little microchips are actually embedded into all the objects around us. And all these objects, they actually start to have sensors as well. For example, as Italian, my coffee maker will actually say, "Ale, your espresso is ready." But not only this, right? We start to move to more preferences and more tailor-made experiences, right, around our everyday lives. On this, for example, my couch will know a lot about me and will collect a lot of data about me. And this seems really cool, but at the same time, I start to think about this a little bit more, and I share a lot of notes with friends as well. And so from this, I arrived to a conclusion to ask a little bit more questions. One of these, for example, was, have you ever paid for a Google search, a Facebook post, or a Skype call? Actually, we already paid, but with our data. So data are actually becoming a new currency, and we are facing this in our everyday lives. For example, a lot of IT companies are actually presenting all the new policies for actually sharing and reveal more awareness of how much data are collecting from us. And for example, this actually questioned me, would I really require for my future connected objects an incognito mode, a modality of complete privacy to my couch or my coffee maker? So from this, for example, speaking always about the Roomba, so this is a recent news from this year of actually, this Roomba was actually stealing data, spatial mapping data, and selling this to third parties, companies. So this is something that I don't like that should happen, and that should happen, right? In this case, I started to imagine a scenario in which all of these objects are designed with one simple concept, but it's extremely strong. And this concept is honesty. In this case, it's just honesty about the data they are collected, okay? But not only this, they're basically actually sharing the way they are communicating with us and without a machine-to-machine communication, because this would be probably the future. These are preliminary notes, okay? They're quite messy. But I started to share this with colleagues and friends and asking for feedback. And from this, I like to imagine a kind of virtual space, my virtual workshop, where I can actually have more immersive ideas. So this is the possible workshop, okay? And from this, I started to think about, okay, not only one object could be honest with me or honest with us about the data that is collecting and how it's using that. So in this case, I imagine, for example, transparency, clarity, and control as three main aspects, for example, of my connected armchair, and of course a dashboard with presenting different stats, but even I can ask about how could I fix an object. This is a constellation of knowledge, and I imagine this term to explain that actually an object can have more circles, more layers. So in the core, more confidential data and preferences about us, and in the more external circles, information such as how to fix an object, or how, for example, have the instruction manual or the community around that object that has actually fixed something, like IKEA with Hacker IKEA, right? But this is because knowledge is power, and I come from the world of makers. And in this case, if you don't really own an object, if you don't know how it works and how to fix it. So in this case, shortly, I truly think that we will face a case of, and we will demand honesty and trust to all our future connected objects, as we demand to our friends. Thank you.